majority of Iraqi tanks were T-72s, like the ones we can see coming on, that have been built in the Soviet Union, Czechoslovakia and Poland. And the Iraqis also had some Soviet T-54s, T-55s, some amphibious tanks called the PT-76, Chinese Type 59s and Type 69s, and you'll see a number of these Iraqi tanks dotted around the site here of all these Tankfests. They tended to dig their tanks in and not use that, as we mentioned earlier, that advantage of a tank, which is in having firepower and being mobile. Iraqi tank crews often try to make up for their lack of training by digging the tanks in and then pre-sighting their tanks on the battlefield. In other words, they mark out specific distances and where a vehicle is so that they could fire at pre-arranged points. Of course, the Allied armour wasn't going to allow them to do this. And here we can see a British Scorpion wrecking the position, coming on and calling in air power as well as artillery to disrupt the Iraqi positions. So here we can see the British Army's Challenger 1, a Warrior as well with the infantry in the back. The Challenger is circumventing the Iraqi position, putting down fire on the Iraqi tank, the BRDM, whilst the Warrior positions itself to debus its infantry, putting down fire from its rod cannon onto the Iraqi positions, whilst in the back, out jumps the infantry, debusing to finish that attack on foot. Some Iraqi troops fought very bravely and sadly lost their lives. Others had realised that there was no point in the fight, their heart wasn't in it. And a number of British accounts found Iraqis prisoners, or basically Iraqi soldiers, surrendering. The Iraqis had already thrown away their boots because they realised the humanitarian British would not make the march back across the desert, they'd get a lift. So obviously for many of these soldiers, their heart wasn't in the fight. And they were up against very professional armies, very professional equipment as well, well-trained soldiers in good equipment led to a victory. The first Gulf War ended in February 1991 when the Iraqi army was defeated, Kuwait was liberated. We're going to read to you now a reading by a young officer who took part in that campaign, a young officer called Seb Hollington, who was in command of a Challenger tank.
I'd only graduated from Sandhurst in April 1990. After a summer spent on the tank troop leaders course at Bovington, I found myself in charge of a Challenger 1 troop going into a large-scale desert war. The sense of opportunity and excitement was my overriding emotion. We had 3 tanks in my troop within a squadron of 14, and freshly up-armoured, they looked and felt like winners. During the Ground War, we fought the tank in our armoured formations, and boldly. I recall multiple vehicle kills and waves of Iraqis surrendering as we advanced. The battlefield was littered with a ragged, dispirited enemy waving white flags. Occasionally, rounds would fly in our direction, and I dismissed the fragmentation hitting my toe. It didn't matter. The sense of invincibility for a Challenger tank squadron advancing together was just too powerful. We swept all aside.
So, ladies and gentlemen, 3 little demonstrations. We are the British Tank Museum. We won each time in these demonstrations. Again, we always like to remember there's guys in the audience here today that did lose compatriots in this fighting. It's not all a game we've made to try